Right after the commercial break, we're going to have our guy Mikey D coming on the show, talking a little NBA, courtside buzz. Should be some fun stuff there. Talk some betting lines, talk some injury reports, see what he is looking at. But Chris, greatly appreciate you for hanging out. We'll be back after this break.
I grew up on the crime side, the New York Times side. Staying alive was no job at second hands.
Little Wu-Tang there.
On old man. So then we moved the Shaolin
on the show. Jose V, you are tuning in to SportsX Radio, live on KSHB Radio, 1400 AM, 107.1 on your FM dial. Big shout out to my guy Chris Wynn for hanging out with me in the studio. Hour number one and a little bit of hour number two. Mike Davis, head coach of the Vegas Nighthawks, joining us as well. And the legend, la leyenda, el único, el número uno, Jose Batista, Joey Bats, joined us in hour number one as well. Former MLB star and now owner of the Las Vegas Lights. We are coming to you live from PSR Law Studios here in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. I am Jose Volonte. Make sure you follow me on all things social media at Jose_Volonte. And, of course, follow the podcast and all the media work at Straight Bet Sports. We are live right now on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter or X, whatever it is that you want to call it. We're going to talk a little NBA here, and we're going to get our guy Mikey D on the line here shortly. Just want to run down some scores for you guys in the association. Cleveland up 74-58, 8:10 left in the third quarter. Golden State and Minnesota getting ready to tip off here shortly at 6:30 p.m. So let's go ahead and get our guy Mikey Domagala. I want to make sure I say that correctly, or as he's also known, Mikey D, Courtside Buzz. Greatly appreciate you joining us on SportsX Radio, my man. How you doing?
Jose, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Love the cash rules, everything around me, cream intro to come in. Love it.
That's all Nunchuck, man. I told him, give me something, put some music. He goes, well, Ken doesn't really normally do that. I'm like, Ken's not here today. I am. So go ahead and give me something that we can get the show started with, my man. But we already have a game going on here. Obviously, Cleveland, Indiana. Game one did not go the way a lot of people were expecting. A lot of people thought Cleveland coming in here and just basically steamrolling this team. It was not that. Indiana came in, showed some fight, won that game. But now it's a completely different story. Third quarter, 7:32 to go. Cleveland up by 17. What have you seen so far in this game, my man?
Definitely more physicality than Cleveland brought to game one. I mean, game one, they didn't have Darius Garland. Okay, so they got punched in the face without their point guard, took the loss. Now we're not seeing Garland, not seeing Mitchell or DeAndre Hunter off the bench, all down with some light injuries. They'll maybe miss a game or two, but they're out, and those are three substantial pieces in Cleveland's 64-18 record this year. But it's all Donovan Mitchell this game, man. He's taken over, putting the team on his back. Yeah, he's maybe attempting a lot of shots, but he's got it when three head honchos are out for the Cavaliers. He's already got 25 with a quarter and a half to go. So definitely has his eye on a 40 ball. And Cleveland's being physical, and Mitchell's doing what he has to do to will them to a win. So we'll see if they can tie up this series.
But we got to see more than Donovan Mitchell, right? I mean, obviously, the rest of the team has to step up. I get it. Jared Allen does have 16 points. He's chipping in. Strauss has 14. So you're getting some play off the bench. Sam Merrill giving him 9, which isn't bad at all. But who else are you expecting to see that has to step up for this team? Because it has to be a complete team effort, obviously. They're up 17. I get it. Not much more that you would expect them to do. But is there anyone else that you want to see in this series step up aside from the big names?
Oh, guaranteed Ty Jerome. I mean, I'm looking at this stat sheet right now. In 18 minutes, 2 points on 1 of 9 shooting. All right, he's inserted into the starting lineup after being a six-man of the year candidate, right in the running. He was balling out, towards the second half of the season, putting up plenty of 20-point games off the bench, even in the playoffs. So he's got to step it up. Yeah, Cleveland's up 17, and I'm surprised they are because I'm seeing Jerome shooting 1 of 9, and you said it. The guys outside of Mitchell got to step up. So we'll see. We'll see if they can hold this lead. I know you know this, Jose, but up 17 with 7 minutes left in the third quarter, a lot could go wrong. There's a lot of time for a team to come back.
We definitely saw that last night in the New York Knicks game. That was insane for them to be down 20 like that and just come back. That was just crazy to see. But in this game, opening line was Cleveland minus 5.5. It's now minus 13.5 in game. Previous to the game starting, when you saw that line, was that a line that you thought was favorable? Was it good? Or were you expecting it to be a little bit lower or higher?
Definitely lower. And I'll tell you, because of the injuries, yes, teams usually tie up a series 1-1 when it's a close matchup and a game could go either way. And then, look at the end of the day, open the newspaper the next day. Oh, it's a 1-1 series. That's very common. But for a Cleveland team, like I said, without Garland, Mobley, and Hunter, minus 5.5, man. That's Vegas really being confident in Cleveland. And I guess they were right. Like I said, there's a lot of time, but that's a ballsy bet, knowing what they're down to right now.
And then, obviously, when it comes to this series, a lot of people thought that Cleveland would be the overall just favorite, right? A lot of people don't necessarily pay attention to the seedings, though. I don't pay attention to the seedings. I look at who did you play and how did you play them in the regular season. And not only that, when it comes to the playoffs are a whole different beast, right? Do you match up better against a certain team? And how are you going to play against a certain team's best player? Maybe you can shut down these certain guys. When this series was already set up, after the first round was done, who did you think would come out on top overall when it's all said and done?
Initially, I had Cleveland in probably 5 or 6. And now that they dropped the first game and are looking at potentially winning this as how the series, I still have Cleveland more so in 6 or 7. Indiana matches up well with them. Styles make fights, and NBA playoff matchups make great games. So, yeah, you never know with, who's going to have the better end of somebody here. I haven't really seen the Cavs bigs in Mobley and Allen really kind of turn up like they were all year. And you could give credit to Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam playing good down low defense. So, like I said, the styles make these games.
So let's switch away from this game. I want to go back to a couple of the games that we had last night. One of the games that I want to talk about more than anything, because I did have money on this game and I was very invested and I watched pretty much all of it, was the Denver Nuggets against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City comes out and it looks like they're just going to run away with this game, right? SGA playing great. The rest of the team stepping up. Alex Caruso decides to go off and have a freaking monster game, which that's what I had. I had Alex Caruso to go over his points, so thank God I at least got that. But this was a scary game, and one of those games where OKC is going to have this in the back of their head, right? There's no way that you can be up by as much as they were in this game, full control, and let it come down to the very end. I give a lot of credit to Russell Westbrook, though, because if we know Russell in the past, he's shoot first, right? He's always been that guy. I want to shoot first. I want to score. So for him to give up that ball and give up that pass to Aaron Gordon at the end of the game to basically get the clutch winning 3 there was just awesome to watch. But what were your thoughts on this game, seeing it from start to finish, and just how Oklahoma City just started to deteriorate down the end?
I'm not going to lie, man. When you run a social media platform like mine and you're trying to be quick and get everything done right and you want to be first, you pre-make some graphics. And I had OKC Thunder winning post with all the stats and everything lined up, probably with the last 4 minutes of the game. And like you said, just a slow deterioration. And I just changed my whole game plan for the Aaron Gordon game winner with my posts and all that. But, Jose, it's just another example of when you see the Denver Nuggets in the fourth quarter down 10 or more points, you should probably sprinkle $5 to $10 on them. I've seen it many times. Last year, when Jokic hit the half-court game winner against the Warriors, they were down 19 heading into the fourth, and Jokic just got it done. Last night, man, it's like Jokic lulls you to sleep. He doesn't do anything that sexy or that flashy, but you go up and down the court every now and then. There's 2 points. There's a foul. There's a three-pointer, and there's a 2. We get a stop. Jokic is coming down the lane for an easy 2. Because he doesn't score loudly, if that makes sense, he could just start chipping away and really mess up your game plan. And Mark Daigneault got a flashbang in his face because he was stunned that Chet Holmgren missed those 2 free throws. And here comes Jokic with the board right to Westbrook, one of the greatest point guards in NBA history, like you said, unselfishly finding Aaron Gordon for 3.
And then Nikola Jokic, 42 points, 22 rebounds. But what sticks out to me more than anything, when he got that 5th foul, the cojones on Adelman to say, the hell with it. We're going to keep you in. We're going to keep playing you, and we're just going to ride this out and see what happens. I think that right there needs to be talked about more than anything because I get it. He's still your guy. You got to play him. He's your superstar. Other coaches would have probably brought him out for a bit, then brought him back in. But for him to just leave him in there and say, let's ride with it. And if you saw Jokic on the sideline, the way he was yelling at his players, I haven't seen him that animated in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I think part of that is because Michael Malone is no longer, the head coach. Things are kind of sideways and all over the place heading into the playoffs with the coaching situation, Adelman sliding up. I think Jokic trusts Adelman because they have a good relationship over the years, and so do the players. But now I feel like Jokic doesn't have Malone in his way to kind of act as his player coach, where he's kind of directing guys, running plays, because it's for the better. It's nothing against David Adelman. Jokic is just more emotional, more intense right now because maybe there's a little, maybe 5% trust lost with Adelman compared to Malone, and Jokic feels the need of to take over when an inexperienced head coach won't run the right play. Maybe, but he's locked and loaded, man. He is locked in. Last night was impressive, like you said, not fouling. And something I got to bring up, Jose, I want to get your thoughts on this. Jokic is off the floor. OKC is up 3. Game-tying shot coming down, and they foul to put Aaron Gordon at the free throw line and to bring Jokic back in the game. How do you not put Jokic, keep him off the court when you can, because they couldn't foul or else they'd send to the free throw line? That was unbelievable.
I don't even know how to respond to that, if I'm being honest with you, because it just comes back to coaching, like you said, right? How do you not leave him on the bench? How do you not give him some breaks? But it's just at that point, I just think that if you're Oklahoma City, you also have to figure something out. You can't be making those silly fouls towards the end of the game like that. Yeah. You can't be doing that. You have to play better defense. You have to play smarter. But now my question to you is, if you're Oklahoma City, what do you do coming out of this loss to come back into game 2? I mean, your whole starting 5 went over double figures. Alex Caruso comes off the bench and has a huge game. What else can Oklahoma City do right in order to win game 2 in your eyes?
Yeah, I think you said it, the coaching. Better execution in the last 6 minutes of the game to blitz Jokic, because he had 18 in the fourth, and he shot like 7 of 8. He got anything he wanted. Blitz Jokic, get the ball out of his hands, make Russell Westbrook make a tough shot in crunch time. Jamal Murray's a big-time performer. But, let Michael Porter Jr. make a big shot in clutch time. Put the ball in his hands. Don't let the ball stay in the future Hall of Famer, top 10 guaranteed center of all time's hands. You know what I mean? Who could make any play he wants at any time. So better execution on offense from OKC and better defensive execution taking the ball out of Jokic's hands. And I think they'll win game 2 because they had control of that whole game, man.
Yeah, they did. The whole game basically looked like it was going to be done with. I thought they were going to completely just keep dominating, especially when I saw the foul trouble that Denver was getting in with some of their players, especially Jokic. And not only that, the way the game was being officiated, it was pretty chippy, and some of the calls were kind of skeptical. You could have thought about it, but you know what I mean? It is what it is. You can't leave, in my opinion, I always say this, you cannot leave the game in the hands of the referees, right? You have to play the full 4 quarters. You have to finish it up. You can't make excuses when it comes to that. So I'm interested to see what OKC does do in game 2 against Denver, and if Denver can keep up with this style of play and keep coming back when they're down. Now, another team that was down yesterday, we talked about it, New York comes back to beat Boston 108-105. Jalen Brunson, again, coming up tough and strong when he needs to for this Knicks team. But not only that, Mikal Bridges with the steal at the end of the game, they're playing unbelievable defense. What were your thoughts on last night's Boston and New York game?
Unbelievable. Obviously, that game happened before OKC and Denver. But looking back, if you ask me which team would come back, New York against Boston or Denver against OKC, I think the whole world would pick Denver against OKC. They know Jokic is a big-time player, whatever. But seeing the Knicks come back 20 against the number 2 Celtics, but the reigning champs, that was pretty unbelievable because we know Brunson's hitting everything in the clutch, blah, 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 this, that. But we don't know that they would totally shut off Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the fourth quarter and overtime. I did not see that coming. They totally turned them into shot-chucking jump shooters from 3. They didn't let them touch the paint. They sealed it off. They didn't even let them try to play make. Tatum shot horribly, something like 30% from the field. And you got to give the Knicks credit. Mikal Bridges, who's gotten a lot of hate this year, deserves credit. He didn't shoot good last night, but he hit 2 big threes in clutch time, and he got the game-winning defensive stop. So people make fun of him and say, 5 first-round picks? Well, they just beat the reigning champs because of those 5 first-round picks.
So you also talked about the three-point shooting. I mean, 15 of 60, 25% from 3, which was just absolutely horrible for the Boston Celtics. Now, I also read something on the way into the studio today that basically Joe Mazzulla comes in and tells these guys, we got to switch it up. We can't keep shooting these threes, this, and that. And that the players are like, basically, no, this is our game. We're going to do what we're going to do. We're going to keep shooting no matter what. Do you believe that? Do you believe that that is actually happening? And if so, do we have a problem here on the bench with the coaching staff and with these players possibly moving forward in the series?
I think there could be a small problem between, like you said, what Mazzulla wants and what the players want. The players always settle for three. And this year I've noticed the Celtics, not even just after last night, but through the regular season, the Celtics had plenty of bad losses because they chucked so many threes in clutch time, like they did last night. They lost to bad teams because they were overshooting and went ice cold. You live and you die by the three. So that being said, I think they change up their game plan. I think they get more paint touches. Once Porzingis is back and healthy, he'll, be more of a threat inside, and they could play inside out. But you also got to look at it for the Knicks, right, Jose? I'm a diehard Knicks fan from New York, so I'm amped about the win. I love how Brunson played, and OG played his butt off too. But you have to think Boston's not going to shoot that bad again, and they led pretty much that whole game. So I think it's going to be a 1-1 series after Game 2 because I see it as Boston more so shot themselves in the foot than New York beat them in Game 1. So Boston's still a threat. The Knicks are still in muddy waters, and they're fighting an uphill battle because that's how deep and how good the Celtics are and how not deep the Knicks are.
Mikey D of Courtside Buzz hanging out with us here on SportsX Radio. Jose V with you today. KT taking the day off. Right now, update, Cleveland 88, Indiana 73. A couple minutes left here in the third quarter, I believe it is still. This is a game that's going to be interesting coming down towards the end for sure because it can get close. But moving back to the Knicks and the Celtics, Game 2 tomorrow, 4 p.m. here on the West, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Game 1, Celtics opened and closed around 8.5, 9-point favorite. Coming into this game after them losing Game 1, we now sit at a minus 10.5 for Boston. If you're a betting man, is this something you're taking the points or you're going against the points?
I'm going against it. I would take New York plus 10.5 if that's the flip bet.
Okay.
Or live if New York is about plus 15, plus 17, plus 18. I think you take that. I think the Knicks prove that they have fight in them. They won't back down from Boston, and I would expect another close game. Even if the Knicks fall down, that's where you take the plus 12 to 18, whatever it may be, because these playoff games, Jose, the 3-point line, it's the make or break for every team. Brunson hit 4 straight threes yesterday and got them right in that game. Tatum missed a bunch of threes, and there's the Knicks lead. So you never know how these games could go. Even this Cleveland-Indiana game is a 14-point game with 2 minutes in the third. The three-point shot could bring Indiana right back in it. So I would avoid taking Boston at minus 10.5.
And Mikey, you brought up something that I love, in-game wagering. Basically, you wait, you watch, you see what happens. I love doing that.
Yep.
And one thing that I've learned, especially during the last 2 years in the playoffs, the betting market, what people don't get, it's not just sides and totals anymore. You can do so much more when it comes to every sport, especially when it comes to player props. I don't know about you, but I like watching these games. I like seeing who's where at half, how they're playing, and then I'll look for some player props. I did it last night. Like I said, I hit Alex Caruso. I had a 6-team parlay, and I needed one more rebound by Shea, and he couldn't get it. It would have been nice to hit that. But what is it about in-game, though, that you like more than anything?
I think exactly what you said. You get a feel for the game. You really look at how coaches are game planning against some of the best players coming off the bench, and you could see the ebbs and flow of these players. For example, last night with Jokic, right? So he finished with 42. So heading into the third, he had 32. He had 24 points heading into the fourth. Now, say his over-under is 31 points right there. That would be just about 7-8 points for him to hit that bet. Just think about it. You get an all-time great in a close game, in need of a little bit of a comeback, down about 10. You know Jokic is getting the ball. You know he's going to the free throw line. You take that bet. So just because, he had 24 heading into the third, you know he's going to finish with 35. Or if a high-volume shooter, say, for example, Donovan Mitchell in tonight's game, say he came into half with 5 points on 2 of 12 shooting. Are we thinking Donovan Mitchell's not going to get his 20? Are we thinking he's not going to get enough shots to get to the free throw line, or however he'll get that 20? That's where you hit it live.
And see, the one thing that I look at, too, though, I don't like to take players that are up big in a game, because if they go up too big, they could get set and they won't shoot. I like to look at the opposite.
That's
to
true.
See who's
That's
there,
true.
who's going to try to make a run, things of that nature. And that's what I looked at last night. I did look at Jokic's rebounds. He was at 12.5 at halftime. If you would have took he was at 12. You would have took the over at halftime. It was 19.5. He got that easy. I should have bet it, and I didn't. But I get what you're talking about, and I do love in-game wagering. Mikey, we got a few more minutes here, and I still want to get your thoughts real quick on this next game tonight. Golden State going into Minnesota. 2 low seeds taking out 2 top big seeds in the Lakers and Houston. Minnesota coming in as a 5.5 point favorite, open up, sitting at 6.5 most places now. What are your thoughts on tonight's game?
The second you said that, I'm not going to lie. I inhaled deeply and I exhaled because what am I going to tell you right now about that series? It's just, it could go one way or it could go the other way. And I know that's a simple way of saying it, but God, you got Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, who seem to do just about everything right since the trade. They won almost every game they played together, it seemed like. And now we have a red-hot Minnesota team. Oh, it's so hard to say, man. They're both very good defensively. They both have a lot of depth. But I will make one statement, almost like a Charles Barkley guaranteed kind of thing. I think Minnesota somehow gets this series done. Anthony Edwards takes out another legend in Steph Curry. And why I think so? I think Minnesota's length and depth is going to mess with the Warriors. Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, and Jaden McDaniels, and I can't forget about Naz Reid. They are going to be extremely disruptive in the paint, on defense and offense, and it might be too much for Kevon Looney, Draymond Green, and Quentin Post. You know, it's their length and their dynamicness is incredible.
No, I agree. I definitely would like to see Minnesota. I like Golden State. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big Steph Curry fan. I got no issue with Jimmy Butler. The only thing that I will say, and remember, be careful what you wish for. He did wish for the Golden State Warriors, and he got them in the second round. Mikey, we greatly appreciate you, my man, for coming on and giving us a few moments of your time. I know KT's not here, but thank you for hanging out with me a bit. Let them know where they can find all of your content, my brother.
Oh, yeah, no, it's always love, whether Ken, you, Jose, you did a great job, and I appreciate it. Follow Courtside Buzz for everything basketball on all social media platforms. Blitz Buzz for everything football, Combat Buzz for everything MMA and boxing, and Stereo Buzz for all things music. And I'll have Strikeout Buzz coming soon for the MLB season. So, Jose, thanks again.
There we go. Mikey D, Courtside Buzz. Greatly appreciate you, my man. You have a great rest of your week. All right, man.
You too, brother. Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Enjoy the games.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff, man. Nunchuck, greatly appreciate you, my man. Keeping me in line, keeping everything going. Final update here, 98-84, Cleveland up at the end of the third quarter. You were tuned in to another show here today of SportsX Radio on KSHP Radio. We greatly appreciate all our guests, Jose Batista, Mike Davis, Mikey D, and, of course, Chris Wynn for coming in the studio, hanging out with us. KT, enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy the game. Remember, guys, don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. If you do drink, get an Uber, get a friend. Be safe. I love you all. Frank, I miss you, and I'll never forget you, bro. Peace.